Hey, what's up, naughty community? You're back over here at My Naughty Hobby with Amber for another easy to follow crochet tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this. I'm calling it the Heirloom Blue Waves stitch sequence that I've been working it up with a gradient cotton like thread fiber that I got from Hobby Yarns, which is out of Denmark. I absolutely love their products, but like my title says, I'm a little bit nervous to be going live because it's been so long, but I love connecting with you guys and figured I was well overdue. So we will go ahead and get started. For this project, I'm going to be using a 4mm hook and just some worsted weight yarn. You can use any size fiber and hook that you have available to you, and it'll work up just the same as it would, no matter what size that you're using. The most important part of this very simple sequence is that you're going to need an even amount of stitches in your foundation row. Not your chain, but your actual first row of stitches. So to keep this tutorial from running on super long, let's go ahead and chain up. Let's do 16 chains. There's 10. 14, 15, and 16. You guys are commenting for whatever reason. I can't see. I remember last time I went live, it did that too, and so I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay, so we are going to be working into the back bumps, and if you're not familiar with that, if you flip your chain over, these bumps that you see right here is what we'll be working into. I want to see if I can't swipe over. Why aren't the comments showing up? I don't know. Okay, so we're just going to do a row of double crochets working into the back bumps, and we want to go into our second chain from our hook here. This one is the one we'll be going into. Foundation always has to be worked a little bit slower for me because the chain is just kind of flimsy. Wish I could see if anybody's saying anything. Man, it's been so long that maybe things have changed. I know Facebook's had a lot of changes lately. And if you're wondering why I choose to do the extra work of going through the back bump, it's because when you go to put a border onto your crochet, it's a lot easier to work when you can see the V of the stitches when you come back around. It's like working just into a regular stitch opposed to the chain, which will, in my opinion, draw a little bit more attention to where you started. It won't look quite as even. Bear with me as we work through this foundation. It'll go by a lot quicker once it's done. This will also, I will also be offering this as a written pattern, which is a great way if you're looking to support my naughty hobby. I try to keep all of my written versions at a very affordable price, but it does make a big difference in, getting new material out there and supporting my small business. And that'll be up by the end of today. Finally coming to the end here. I just want to double check that I have an even amount of stitches. It's important for one of the rows that we'll be doing on here. So let's just count quick. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We have 15. I'm glad that I counted. It's important to count. So since we have 15, instead of like pulling out all of my work and redoing this entire chain, I'm just going to leave this last chain unworked. And then at the end of the work, I'll simply take this little knot out and you won't even know that chain was there. But like I said, it is important to have an even amount for our crossover stitches that we'll be working to work. So at the end of our row, go ahead and turn your work without any chains. In the first stitch right here, we're going to work a standing double crochet, which is just an alternative to maybe the traditional chain 2 turns that you might have done. I think it gives it a cleaner edge. So you work a single crochet and then you'll insert your hook under that front leg of the single crochet and work another single. That reaches the height requirements for your turn chain without giving it that extra, bulk that you might see. You know how it kind of gives it that wavy line when you use chains, or at least it does for me. Okay, so from here, we're going to skip our next stitch and we're going to work a double crochet into the next. Now we're going to do a front post treble crochet over the post of the stitch that we skipped. So here's that skipped stitch. We're going to be working right into here. To work a treble, you yarn over twice and insert your hook from the right onto the left and draw up a loop. You'll have 4 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through your remaining 2. And you've done your first crossover stitch. I'd already worked up a little bit of a swatch, I guess, or practice piece, and so my yarn's all tangled up from frogging it out. Let me get a little slack here. Okay. First crossover stitch, we're going to do this all the way across. So you're going to skip that next stitch and work a double crochet into the next. Yarn over twice. Now we're going to go back and work the post of that skip stitch. And that stitch count I was talking to you guys about in the beginning, the even amount, this is the row that it matters with. The other special stitch, it doesn't matter if you have an odd number or not. But for this one to work up correctly, that foundation row needs to have an even amount of stitches. So I can see here coming up to the last, got one more crossover stitch. And then we'll work a double crochet into our last stitch right here. Oops. Don't want to pull up all my stitches. So first special stitch done, go ahead and turn your work and into our first stitch once again. We'll do that standing double crochet. Now we'll just work a double crochet. Jeez, I don't know if it's the yarn in the background that the camera's trying to focus on. Maybe. Like I said, we'll just work a double crochet into each. Right now we're looking at the wrong side of our work. And what that means when you say wrong side means that on the other side is where, if you're using decorative stitches, where the pattern or the design will really show. This is common terminology if you're working with like baubles or puff stitches. Going under both loops. Really love those standing double crochets. You can see that straight edge there. So we'll turn our work. Standing double crochet in the first. Now we'll be working double crochets into the third loop only to give our work that ridge. So this right here is actually our third loop, and the way to achieve that ridge is we'll insert our hook under the V, under both of those loops there, and then we'll come down with it and crochet around that third loop. So from behind, insert, this is, I've found too, I've been working with a lot of smaller threads lately where the point really comes in handy, and the way that you're positioning your hook is either going to make or break you. I use that point there to come directly down. It's going to have a little write-up on, you know, how to utilize the different parts of your hook and the tools that you do use to make working a little bit more convenient. the little things that I never really paid attention to when I first started crocheting. And in between what I would consider the special stitches will just be a row of double crochets. It makes this really simple to work up another pattern where you could actually watch TV or do something that if you get distracted, it's not a big deal. Don't have to keep count too much. So here's what the completed sequence, well, with one more row of the just double crochets between the crossover stitches and those third loop. Finish up this row. Got two more here. All right. So back over to the front of our work. This is a full sequence worked out. We will now start, if we were to continue on with these crossover stitches the same way, like I said, in this pattern, you'll always start with a standing double crochet and then end with a double crochet at the end of your work. But I want to see if I can't get the comments. Maybe you guys just aren't saying anything. Oh, hey. Okay, I see some of your comments now. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Linda. Sorry, I'm just going to scroll. Oh, thanks, Robin, for the welcome back. And hi, Jasmine. Okay. Oh, so I'm feeling a little bit better. Like I said in the post, I was feeling a little bit jittery. But I think I'll go through the sequence just one more time in case anybody wants to chat or say hello now that I can see what you're saying. Feeling just a little bit more confident. Maybe I'll bring up. So for the actual thread blanket that I'm doing, which you guys, this stuff is dreamy. I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer. This is 100% cotton fiber. Like I was saying, I got this from Hobby, and it comes in these big skeins of, I think it's like just over 1,000 yards. Let's look here. Yep. Oops. So 1093 yards, and I'm using a 3.25 millimeter hook on this blanket. It's taking quite a while, but I love the drape of cotton, and I love how soft it is, especially after the first wash. This stuff is a dream. But maybe I'll show you guys how I maneuver my hook when it's relatively small. I know you can go much smaller, like micro style, but it took some getting used to. It was on crossover stitches here. And I really think the trick to working with smaller fibers is learning your tension and how to control your tension. Aw, thank you, Amy. And I hope I don't completely destroy your name, but is it Patra? Patra? So I'm starting with that standing double. Might just bring it in a little bit closer. Tension really is important. And something else that took me a few years to really figure out is I always hold my yarn where it comes down and underneath like this. I control my tension with my pinky and my ring finger. But using your pointer finger, no matter if you're right-handed or left-handed, to what I like to call assist you instead of pulling. So all of the loose stuff is here, but my tension's being controlled there. Using your finger to throw up a loop or throw up that yarn. That right there. It's kind of hard to explain, but it makes a big difference. At least it has for me, and I hope that, I hope that it helps you too if you try it out. It does take practice. It's the same with chaining, I found. I was finding that making chains specifically for blankets was taking me forever, half an hour, because I was going over. Well, now I don't even know if I could do it without, but when I chain, I use this finger to just kind of put the loop up, which makes it a lot quicker until you reach about 10. Then you got to move your hand. Oh, thanks, Jasmine. Yeah, that written pattern will be out later this afternoon. I have all of my pictures and little helpful video that is also included in the written for those who maybe don't see this video but need the extra video guidance. And I also released the Starry Slouch Hat pattern, the one that was supposed to be released literally months ago. Better late than never, though. I was a little bit bugged that my display pictures are Christmas colors, but I figure, people are going to make it whatever color they want anyways. Caitlin, it has literally been so long since I've done a live, and I'm happy that you're here. Happy that you guys jumped on to kind of chat with me. My nerves were out of control. My palms were all sweaty and clammy through probably the first 5 minutes of this tutorial. Usually I have to stand in my mirror and pump myself up. Even though it's just crochet, you'd be surprised at how nerve-wracking it can be. It's helpful to have my hooker friends backing me up. If you've got school-age kids, I'm curious to see if your kids are in full-time or if where you're at they're still doing online. My kids have been back into full-time school for about 2 weeks now. I think we're starting on our second week. It's kind of weird. I don't really know what to do with myself without my kiddos here. They were going part-time. Oh, thanks, Freddie. I appreciate that encouragement. I timed it out last night as I've been working on this blanket. And each of the segments, as I like to call them, takes me about 52 minutes on this blanket. So when I say segment, I'm going to show you from the right side facing. I'll bring it up. Oh, my light here. So from here to here, you would think the segments would go here. So I guess for each one here, 52 minutes. And I counted last night. I'll pull this up so you can see the awesome color changes. How it goes just so much to lighter. I think I have 27 segments on this blanket. So close to 20 hours of work, man. Some people just don't understand. Where did I drop my hook off to? Some people don't understand the time that truly goes into crocheted projects. Am I right? I love making these blankets, but I have found that, you know, the prices I ask for my time and skill are often scoffed at. So I'm like, well, here I am with 100 projects just sitting because I refuse to sell my works of art for, you know, pennies on the dollar. And I would encourage anybody watching to do the same. You know, don't ever undersell yourself because your time's important. Your skill is important. And unless it's something similar to what they could maybe get at Walmart, Target, wherever they might shop, don't budge on your prices. I feel like I totally missed. Oh no, I didn't. I was looking down at my last row. Hey Peggy, no, I haven't been sick. I've just been busy with life. My dad got sick last November, which took me down to Cheyenne for a little while, and then we spent time with our family as he has been recovering in Riverton, Wyoming, which is actually where I'm from. You know, kids being out of school has been difficult, and my husband has a power washing business that I've been trying to help get off the ground with him. So in addition to my naughty hobby, I also have a dirty hobby. Maybe after this live is finished, I'll post a picture. We clean and wash big rig equipment out here in the oil field, out here in the Bakken. So that's where a lot of my time has been going, is to, you know, try to support our little family over here. But I am dedicated to, you know, reconnecting with you guys and also pursuing my own dreams, because that's important. Thank you, Robin. And you know, you guys, I think too, because our weather has been so freakishly nice here. And when I say that, I mean pretty much the entire month of December. We were in the 40s up into the higher 50s for weather, which is so unusual for North Dakota, that though I did some crocheting, it just wasn't quite cold enough for me to really dive into it. Most winters, you know, December and January, it's like negative 40 degrees, and that's totally not an exaggeration. Like it truly gets that cold. It's easy to sit at home and crochet, but when you're blessed with wonderful weather, when usually it'd be awful, you find that you don't want to sit at home so much. Lucky for us, the weather hasn't been in the negative since we deal with water and wind and everything else with the power washing company. That's one of my pet peeves, when I start trying to rush and you catch one of your, next stitches coming up. What's going on there? Stacy, your paparazzi business, what's that about? Like, do you go and take pictures of celebrities? Like, it sounds pretty glamorous. I must know more. Sometimes when I'm crocheting by myself, I really do think about a crochet race. I think it would be fun. Maybe come up with a few silly little prizes. A race to see who could crochet 1,000 yards or whatever. Might be kind of fun. I wish I would have brought the star blanket that I completed yesterday down. On Wednesday, I will be doing a live tutorial on how to do a star rug. The first one I did was pretty small, took hardly any time at all, but the second one I did, I added about 3 skeins of the burlap blanket so it could serve as like a little rug or tummy time mat. I have this stuff's a bit thicker, but this is the star rug. Let's see if I can't move out my, it's still going to be difficult to see, but you can see the star here in the middle and how thick. Without that light, it's hard to, there we go. You can see how thick and awesome it is. This is a fiber I got from Hobby Lobby, and I didn't even realize I had 2 skeins of it, but of course I did. I'm always overbuying yarn. On Wednesday, if you wanted to follow along exactly, I used this yarn being Turin and Sherbert. It's only 270 yards, so it doesn't create a huge rug, but it will create like a nice decorative little rug or mat that would be perfect for taking pictures on of your cute grandbabies or babies yourself. Oh, thanks, Gladys. Stacy, I wasn't actually planning on going live today. I was feeling nervous about the live on Wednesday. Bugging me. And so I thought that just to get out those, I call them the live bug jitters, I would go live today. Kind of notorious for those impromptu, and the tutorial's already done. I'm just kind of working on this Heirloom Blue Waves blanket while I catch up with you guys. Ease back into things. Oh, and I should also talk about which on Wednesday, since that's more of a planned tutorial, it'll be a bit more structured than this one. Have not forgotten about my 50K giveaway. I had set a goal to reach 50,000 of you interested in my naughty shenanigans, and I reached that goal with about a week left, I think it was around the 20th of December, I hit 50,000 followers. So as a thank you, I'm going to be doing a huge giveaway with all of my favorite things. We're going to have hooks and my favorite fibers and different things that I use on a regular basis. I'm just trying to get everything together with that. But as a thank you for all of those who have stuck by me, oh yeah, you're going to want to be in the know with that giveaway. I've had a few people message me and say, did I miss it? And you haven't missed it. It's just, man, sometimes things get ahead of me, but that will be happening soon. So I'll probably finish up this row and then I'm going to jump off and, oh, I don't know, do some cleaning around my house. Maybe just like walk around naked since my kids aren't here. Do all of those things that you can't do when kids are home. I still feel for all of the families who are still in like a severe lockdown or quarantine situation. Oh, geez. I did not realize that my husband was even watching this video. And here I am talking about walking around naked. See you later, Robin. Thanks for jumping on and chatting with me while I did my Your Favorite Hooker's Back impromptu style. Oh, also shout out to my testers who tested the Starry Slouch beanie that I just released today. They all sent some really awesome pictures. Under the post where I posted the pattern here on my page, I'm going to post their pictures so you can see their take on it. One of them even created one for their little mini. Turned out so cute. Way better than those CC beanies. Is there anybody out there who just gets a little bit, I don't know, annoyed when you see a close, friend or family member and they're wearing one of those CC cheapo beanies? When you're over there able to make like your own badass designs, it's like, come on, man. Support the local, support your creative friends, the ones making and doing art. It's like a little pet peeve of mine. I'm like, dude, it's just like everybody else's. There's nothing unique about that. And oh, by the way, it was machine made. Machine made, and you're still, paying $25 for it. Please share how many cakes it will take to make this blanket. Hey, Chris. So this blanket that I'm working on right now, it's what I consider like a toddler size blanket, one that a baby can grow into. And I will be using 2 skeins of this Cotton Kings. I already have one fully on there. And so you're looking at just around 2,200 yards if you're doing it in thread. And I think that I feel like even if you were using, yardage really doesn't change for the length. And so depending on, you know, if you're doing like a queen size or full or whatever, for a toddler size, about 2,200 yards is what you're looking at. Mary, I'm sure that your daughter would never insult you by getting a CC beanie and wearing it around you. I think most of my family and friends know not to. Maybe it's a silly pet peeve. I have so many hats. I had them all posted on my Shopify that I was going to try to get rid of, but I decided that I'm going to go start placing them, all of the hats that I have, and no joke, you guys, there's like over 100, I think, or close to, that I'm going to just put around in the little town that I live in for the community. We have some like dinosaur statues. I might dress one of them up with some of my work, but I need to make room. My craft room, I swear like it's getting smaller, but it's not. Like, I have a problem with buying fibers, especially if it's on sale. Oh my gosh. I have like no self-control. Though I did turn down when we were in Gillette doing some work, turned down going into Hobby Lobby, and even said the words, I don't need any more yarn. Like, if I go in there, I'm going to be spending money. It's one of those proud hooker moments. Kept thinking about, even after I got my craft room cleaned up, it's shameful, okay? It is shameful right in this moment. You'd never be able to tell that I even did any cleaning. Because after I got my craft room cleaned up and cleaned up all my other little crochet spots that I now have around my house, living room, in my bedroom, where my husband put an awesome chair and light, that I had like a whole nother craft room of yarn. Brought it down here and I was like, oh, doesn't even look clean anymore. Doesn't look like I did anything. So one of my 2021 resolutions, is to use up some of I've got to use up more of what I have here. Or I need to sell some of it or do something. Stay away from hobby yarns, that's for sure. That is where my biggest weakness lies, because I just love their products so dang much. Almost to the end of the row here. Then I'm going to hop off. But I'm glad that I decided to come on and chat with you guys, because I think it's going to help Wednesday's live tutorial go so much better. Shouldn't be quite as nervous though. I'm sure I will have clammy hands for the first few minutes, because that's just the way it always seems to go. And I would typically flip the camera around to give you more of a personal goodbye, but I'm still recovering from a pretty nasty cold sore, which it makes me feel like I have leprosy. I'm going to save you guys that whole business and just go ahead and jump off of here. But thanks for everybody who took the time to jump on and comment or follow along with this tutorial. I really appreciate you guys, and I'm happy to be back. And I guess that's it. I'll see you guys Wednesday. And until then, have a great Monday. Talk to you guys soon and happy hooking.